Alright, we are about to intercept the approach to the GPS runway 25 into Oxnard, and we're going to go ahead and begin our descent. I'm going to change it to, oops, I accidentally disconnected the autopilot. I'm going to change it to low track, so it will track our course to Nelly. You see we're going to Nelly. We need to go ahead and begin a descent down to 3,200 feet for the initial approach. Now the tricky thing about this approach, if you ever decide to fly this route, is flying into Oxnard. There is an airport right before Oxnard, Camarillo, with the exact same runway layout. A single runway, same heading and length and everything. So it's very easy to get confused and actually go into the wrong airport, which happens quite frequently, as we all know. So you need to watch that to make sure you're not landing in Camarillo when you should be landing in Oxnard. Now the MindStar GNS that I'm using does not have WAS capabilities yet. It will not show you a glide path. So this has to be done like a VOR approach, where you manually will step down in altitude from, we go to 3,200 for Nelly, and then the last fix, pulling up my chart here, would be 1720 for Kukum. We'll have to manually step down to 1720 for that one. So we are going down about 700 feet a minute. Go ahead and realign. Now our descent checklist calls for the fuel pump on, the mixture rich, the power is set, got the landing lights turned on, got a little bit of turbulence coming through. Let's go ahead and pick up ADAs for Oxnard. Okay, so we got 29901 on the altimeter. Calm winds, 7 miles visibility. We should see the runway in time. Be a little murky. We're a little above flap speed. Flap speed is 100, well, we're right at flap speed, 115, but I like to get down to about 110, 105 before dropping the flaps. So we're about 7 miles from Nelly, where we need to be at 3,200. We're keeping it on low track. I don't think high track works very well with GPS approach. It's better with the ILS approach. But I could be wrong. Somebody may correct me on that. About 800 feet above, 5 miles to go. Crossing over Thousand Oaks right now. This is Thousand Oaks. See any valleys up over that way somewhere? There you see a light, runway light. Remember, that would be Camarillo. Camarillo would be the first airport you cross. Flying this approach, you fly a little to the left of Camarillo, but it is easy and I've done it to get confused and actually landed Camarillo instead of Oxnard. There's some more speed. We're about 100 below, so we get up to about 2100. That'll bring the nose up. We monitor our CDI, make sure we're still on course. Pull the nose up and trim it. We want to stay at 3,200 or above until crossing Nelly. So anywhere between 32, 35. You see the autopilot's getting a little wonky here as we get closer to Nelly. So once again, I will flip off to a heading mode and hold it myself. Bouncy, 2.5 miles. A little bit to the other side. This is where you could actually track it with ST mode, and then you could fly it with the steering, or whatever they call that. So we're a little bit to one side, getting a little high. It's okay, as long as we're above 32 and not below 32. Steer it over a little more. There we go. Straighten it up. Go back. There's Camarillo. Course is 256. We'll hold it here because we will be hand flying it. Once we see the lights, we can land that. 0.4. Go a little more. Still above 32. We do not have the runway in sight. Goes a little bit this way. Alright, now we drop down to 1720. And I'm going to hold up on the descent a little bit. Oops. We're going to put one flap setting in to keep our speed down. And I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. And now we will hand fly the rest of the approach. After Nelly, we can go on down to 300 feet, and I already see the runway lights up here, or the approach lights, some sort. So we're a little bit off here. Go back this way, watch the descent. .256 is the approach course. So 240, 250. Once we get down below altitude, down lower, the wind should calm down. We probably have a crosswind here. Yeah, we got a crosswind of 12 knots. Not really a crosswind, it's more of a headwind. But it is affecting our track. Just scooch back over. There's 2,000. We cannot go below 1720 until Kukum, which we're 2 miles from Kukum. I said that if you're using the Reality XP, they would have the WASP capabilities and guide you down the guide slope, but this particular GPS unit, there goes the visibility. This particular unit does not have that capability, so it must be flown. So now we're going to watch our needles. We've lost sight of the runway, so I cannot land yet. I can't go below 300 feet. A little bit. Go back over a little bit. The wind's starting to die down, so we get back on our normal course. There's 17, so we're going to go ahead and hold the nose up. Give me a little power. There we go. I drop below it a little bit. And get back up. And go back over again. Sort of bracket it in. 3. Now we will be able to go down to minimum of 300 feet. Now, but I will hold at this altitude. We're going to keep about 85 until I get a visual on the runway. I'm seeing white, no red, so I'm going to start my descent. Not much, because we're so slow, we don't need a lot. Still can't make out the runway. Alright, I think I see the runway now. Right on course. Pull the speed back. Now we can drop a little bit. Follow that road right to it. You take the power off the single drop. Let's go ahead and get another notch of flaps. Double check, mixture rich, fuel pump on, lights on, strobes on. Fuel is good, we're okay. Give us some power. Trim it up a little bit. A little more power. Trim. On glide path, according to Vasi. Wind is dying down as we get lower. Nose up. We need an approach speed of about 70 to 75. We'll pull the speed back, hold the nose up, drop our last bit of flaps as we come up to the runway here. Give me some more. Throttle. Nose up. Trim. feet. Trim it. 75, good approach speed. Displace threshold, fly over it completely. Speed coming back a little bit. Trim that nose up. Alright, rudder. Hold the nose up. There we go. Not the best landing, but it worked. Flaps up, full back, helps you come to slows down. Don't have to use the brakes. It's a tricky one to land. And we'll go ahead and take the next exit. Brakes. Take an echo here. Get on past the point here. We'll go ahead and come to a stop, and we'll get the landing lights off. Turn off the fuel pump. Turn off the strobes. And go ahead and taxi up to parking here. We'll lane her out for ground operations. Sort of cloudy. There's the hangars over here. Just pull into one of these is fine. We go. Put our parking brake on. We'll go ahead and run it up and check the mags again. Yeah, that works. Okay, back to 1000, lane it out, and we go ahead and pull the mixture. Should have turned the radios off. Off, landing light, beacon. Abs off, off, off. Turn the avionics off. That's off. Go ahead and unplug this. Autopilot off. Fuel off. Oops. Unlock it. I'll go ahead and lock the controls, and that would be the flight. Thank you very much.